This is Star Wars Battlefront 2, and this is Battlefront 2, and this is Battlefront 2. Star Wars Battlefront 2 has been through a lot of changes since 2005. I personally love the game. I've played it on PS2, the PS version, and the newer Classic Collection on both PC and Switch. Since I've already played way more hours than I should of this game, I'm comparing the graphics and a few basic gameplay changes across each version of Star Wars Battlefront 2. The first release of Star Wars Battlefront 2 was in 2005 for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, PC, and PlayStation Portable, or PSP. I found a couple sources saying that it also released for mobile in 2005, but considering that the average 2005 cell phone wasn't exactly video game ready, even for 2005 graphics, I'm gonna go ahead and guess that the Battlefront 2 was not playable on your phone back in 2005. But I just thought I'd mention that some sources claim this was an option. What you're seeing right now is what Battlefront 2 looked like when fans saw it for the first time. I decided to use the planet Felucia for a comparison because it's a visually interesting planet and it's playable in every version of Battlefront 2. Now this is actually gameplay from a later version that I've edited to look like gameplay from the PS2. I have the PS2 version and I've played it on the PS2, but I can't hook up my PS2 to my recording software with my current setup, so this is the closest I could do. The important part to take away is that by modern standards, the PS2 era of Battlefront was a little dark, a bit blurry, and suffered a little bit in terms of frames. That being said, this is the version that fans came to enjoy for the first time and still enjoy years later. This was Battlefront 2. Now there was also a Battlefront 1 in 2004 and a Battlefront EA remake in 2015, but since this video is only covering the graphics across the versions of Battlefront 2, we won't be covering either of those versions of Battlefront 1 today. The next version of the game is one that I haven't seen people talk about, but I feel like was a huge part of Battlefront 2's evolution, and that's the PC Classic release on Steam. I couldn't find the exact date when this version released on Steam, but the earliest review I found on the store page was from 2011. The PC Classic Edition on Steam had default graphics that were similar to the 2005 version, but with some visible improvements. However, this version had adjustable graphics settings that were not available in the older console versions, making it possible to improve the already superior graphics. With all the graphics settings turned as high as the game would allow, this game honestly looks pretty good even today. Obviously, it's not going to put Unreal Engine out of business or outdo a modern AAA game title, but it has all the enjoyable visual qualities of the original while still having enough extra flair to make the world look more vibrant and alive. And the reason I think this is also important is because of the next version for us to talk about, the Classic Collection. Now for this one, I'm not going to be covering any drama or controversy. There's been a lot of updates about the state of the game over the past 2 weeks, and that topic is deserving of its own entire video, which I'm also working on and will be uploading in the next couple weeks. In terms of graphics and only graphics, the Battlefront Classic Collection looks good. As a side note, I'm only talking about the Battlefront 2 side of things since that's the video topic, however the Classic Collection also includes Battlefront 1. The Classic Collection's biggest visual improvements is reflections, which can be seen on the water and a few metal surfaces such as the AT-TE Walker on Felucia and Geonosis, flat metal surfaces such as the sides of the LAAT gunship, and the interiors of the maps look noticeably higher resolution, although this is a more minor change compared to the water reflections. All around, the game looks great. However, the reason I spoke about the PC version is because the Classic Collection isn't a huge difference for the PC players. The PC version already looks pretty good, especially if you turn up all the graphic settings. For the PS2 players though, jumping from the 2005 console look into the Classic Collection is definitely a big visual difference. But here's where my opinion gets a little complicated. As you probably know, Battlefront 2 got a remake in 2017. Even though this is technically the fourth game in the Battlefront franchise, its official title is Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I want to discuss it briefly. Obviously the game looks great. Being on this Battlefront is more visually impressive than the original Star Wars movies in terms of realistic computer graphics, and as a Star Wars fan, everything here is fun to look at and fun to do because it looks great. Now there are a lot of gameplay changes, so the classes are very different. Here I have the Vanguard class with the 501st Clone Trooper skin, which is the closest I have to the default Clone Trooper class in the older versions. But the point is, the game looks really good. But the last game we covered is actually a newer version. The Classic Collection is a 2024 re-release, while Battlefront 2 EA came out in 2017. And the reason this is very important is because of this mod. What you're seeing right now is a video that I've linked in the description by BertMan, where they review a mod pack that changes the models and textures from the newest Battlefront game to look like the 2005 version. I've seen this mod pack pop up a lot recently, and it seems to be very well liked. I said I wouldn't be talking about the Classic Collection controversy, but I will acknowledge real quick that there is a lot of it, and it's making people not play the game. But if fans are already putting in enough work to overhaul the newest game and make it an experience that has better graphics than the Classic Collection, while still honoring the original art and classes from 2005, would it have been better for EA and Aspyr to skip the Classic Collection entirely and simply make this fan-made experience a full Battlefront 3 game? That's the question that my review so far has left me with. Until Battlefront 3 does ever release, that ends the evolution of the graphics differences from 2005 to 2024, and I think it's unlikely we'll see another Battlefront 2 game remake after so many versions. Real quick, I want to say I've super enjoyed making this video and doing my Wednesday live streams. I do all the pixel art, drawings, and animations for my videos myself. I have 2 upcoming videos I've already started working on, and I go live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. CST. I'm having a lot of fun, and I hope to see you back soon. Later, nerds!